radio. Shout it.
During that time, kicking it with Pac, when you linked back up with him, what was that energy around Death Row like at that time, and you being able to have a front row seat to the movement that was going on?
It was definitely some heat going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to realize all of that stuff was going on because that same day I was there, he had one of those small televisions that have like a VHS connected to it, the little one. He had one of those. And he was like, yo, look what you missed yesterday. And he put in a video. It was X-rated, like, how do you want it? It was with KC and them and everybody. He was like, yo, man, I was going so hard. I went hard till I fell out. He's like, you missed all of this. I'm like, wow. He's like, yeah, we was getting it in. Then he put in this other tape. He's like, check this out. It was him doing a video about Biggie. He's like, yo, open the drawer. He opened the drawer. He went to grab a gun. Instead of grab a gun, he grabbed a Twinkie. Something like that. Or some video. It's out now, whatever. But he showed me that. I'm like, yo, you crazy.
Exactly.
He was like, yo, I'm going out. I'm like, whoa. He's really, y'all going, this is him. Yeah, man. Yeah.
During that time,
crazy.
Did it seem like his time was winding down? Did he feel like, because during that time he was also making a lot of music about his death and stuff like that. Was that something that he spoke about a lot, or was that something that you can kind of tell was in the back of his mind? Did he feel like, his death was apparent?
I don't know if it was back in his mind, but I would catch him often like this. We was in the studio one day, and I was in a lounge part and had a glass just like this. This is where the board is at. And I'm sitting over there. He like, you know when you feel somebody looking, and we just both looked at each other and just started smiling like. And when we were doing records, like I did like 6 records, and he would have me do the music. Do the music. Do the same way that you do Nice and Smooth. Do the same thing. Just do the music. And he'd be at the set doing the movie. He was doing Gridlock with Tim Roth. And every time he finished shooting, he'd come to the session. And he's like, yo, play what you did. I play beat. He's like, yeah. He get a pad and he just started writing. He's like, do the hook. Do the hook on that one. I'm like, all right. Take that reel off. Put on another reel. Take that off. Put another one on. He just kept doing just like that. Take it off. Do another one. Do another one. Like he was like stacking it up like.
What was going through your mind when you witnessed a friend that you had from back in the day when you was popping in on top of your game, you showed him love, reciprocating that in real life and in real time? Because a lot of times that kind of stuff is never reciprocated. So for him to be Pac and going crazy on your tracks, what's happening?
Man, like Premier always tell me and a couple other cats, they like, you should produce more. Produce people. Leo Cohen told me that. Leo was like, yo, we was in a hotel in L.A., and he called me. He was like, Todd is upstairs. He's going to come downstairs. Todd, that's LL Cool J. So he's like, Todd's going to come down. He was like, I've been setting it up. You got to do tracks for Todd. You got to do, like, he wanted me to do different things like that. So I can do that. I know how to do it. I just never pressed on that. I never run out and go, yo, I'm a producer or do whatever. And they was telling me that Premier was on the Drink Champs, and they was talking about something, and he was like, oh, no, I didn't produce that. Greg produced that. He produced that, too. They was like, what? Like how you said earlier. I didn't know. I just thought they did the words.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he did all of it. You know, that type of thing. So, but, you know, I mean, it was love, man. It wasn't. I didn't have an agenda. He didn't have an agenda. That's what's happening today. Everything is an agenda.
Yeah.
You getting with this person or hanging with this person because you think you're going to get something out of it opposed to just being pure.
Yeah.
When you be pure, it's going to come out anyway. Success is going to happen. It's going to happen. Financially, everything, it'll happen as long as you being pure and love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And who you're doing it with. So, you know, and then after all of that, my homeboy that I went out there with, the one that I said call him up, even his life changed.
What?
Like to the point where he is with one of the biggest video companies of today. Like done a lot of things. Chris Brown's videos, 50 Cent's videos, you name it, everything they doing. Rick Ross videos. They doing the Power TV show and all of that stuff. They directing all of that. The new Raising the Canaan, everything. So him and his partner, they started a company and they did a lot of great things. So,
have you talked to him since? And what is the conversation when y'all reminisce over that time?
Oh, it's a good thing because he was down here one time and he called me, him and his partner, and he's like, "Yo, come meet me. We're gonna have dinner." So we was talking, and he had a young brother here that was with him too. That's his main man, Shakespeare. You know Shakespeare?
Yeah,
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That's his man.
Okay.
And it's like all of that from messing around with me. All of that is where he's in that circle. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he's doing a lot of good things. So
when Pac passed, how did that impact you when you had just reconnected with him? Y'all working, getting busy, and you back in your groove.
I just left to go home for a weekend. I went home to go to New York for a weekend to rhyme on a song with one of my young homeboys that was coming up. And he was signed to my other homeboy that used to be the vice president of Uptown, had started his own label. Jimmy Love is his name. And Jimmy started his own label, and he had an upcoming artist. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to rhyme on the record. I'll rhyme on the record. And went to go do that during that time. And while I was in New York, I stopped at Smooth's crib, and I told him, yo, Pac said he's sent his love and this, that, and the third, and he was talking. He was like, yeah, that's good stuff. Let's go to White Castles. We was going to White Castles, and we was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden we heard Angie Martinez, and she started crying, and then the music just went dead. The radio station went dead, and I was like, eventually she came back on and just said, this guy was just gunned down in Las Vegas. It was like bugging because two of my homeboys were still there because I left them at the crib out there. And like every other weekend they would go to Vegas. Even before the fight and all that, they would just go to the club that Suge had. And then that was it. And then about a month later, I came down here to go see his mom. And then we did a memorial for him here, and did an event at the Atrium, and that was it. That was a crazy time.
When you think about that time, and then you compare it to what's going on now, when Tupac died, it was a shocker. It was like, how could you take somebody so great from us? In the last couple of years, artists have been dying almost every other month now. What do you think has triggered this new rise in the death in hip hop? And, why is it so commonplace right now?
Well, dying or being murdered?
Murdered.
Being murdered, I think a lot of got to do with your upbringing. I think a lot of it got to do with not having an elder around you. Somebody with some kind of wisdom to tell you, yo, man, it's been done already. We could do it another way, man. We could do it another way. Because there's a lot of other people that's people of color that's getting money. We don't hear about Denzel and no shootouts. We didn't hear about Prince and no shootouts.
Yeah.
We didn't hear about Babyface and no shootouts.
Yeah.
Things like that. So, and at the same time, you killing your own brother. And it's probably over something that could have talked it out. Or at the same time, you ain't got to be around that person. If they're not taking no food out your mouth or harming your family, that's the only time I think is the time to really get violent, to defend yourself or your family. If it's something that you could walk away from, was being premeditated, that's it's a sad situation. And, I come from the ghetto. I come from a time when it was real ghetto. I'm born in the 60s. So, like, the ghetto growing up in New York at that time, we lived in tenement buildings that go up to 8 floors, and sometimes, we got snow and ice, real snow and ice when it was going on.
Yeah.
You had heroin. You had all kind of stuff going on, the rise of cocaine and stuff, all of that. So it ain't the fact of, I came from this at the same time, that should just make you stronger. It's about the individual, you know, because we could grow up in the same house. And me and my sister or brother, we don't see eye to eye. But, you know.
With all of the knowledge that you have now, what would you go back and tell a young Greg?
Now? Don't worry. It'll all happen in due time. You know, that thing, right? Imagine, like, they say you're going to go to that party, and it's like the big party. And you get mad at your parents if they don't allow you to go to that party. Because you think that if you didn't go to that party, everything is just over.
Exactly.
But then you go to sleep and you wake up and you realize the day still goes on.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be another one. So that kind of stuff, as far as like life and dealing with people and women and stuff like that, man, that part I would change. You know, I would change if I could. But it didn't break me. It made me stronger. So, you know, you can try to make as many plans as you want, but God already got that plan written out.
Facts.
He's laughing at you talking about your plan. He's like, that's cute. That's cute.
No,
I
that's
got
true.
mine. I got your plan already, buddy. Don't you worry. We wasted all that time.
Exactly.
Enjoy this breathing.
When you think about going forward and then looking back, what was it that mentally kept you strong during the down times, man? When you think about that resilience to bounce back, what was it that got you over them humps?
Learning to love myself. Learning to know that everybody that say they down for you ain't down for you. And praying.
Oh, that's right.
Praying. I do that more than I ever did.
Exactly.
They have a pocket full. You know, the gas and the light bill paid 2-3 months ahead. I'm still praying.
Exactly.
Because, you know, there's no time limit. You don't know when you're going to go.
Yeah.
You could be at the gym working out, 101% health, and just go.
Still going.
They do an autopsy, and they like, what happened? He was clean, everything. It was just, the guy said, hey, the job is done. It's time to go. So that's for the most part.
When you think about life and just how crazy it can be, though, Greg, like you say, folks getting up out of here at the drop of a hat and stuff like that. Interns going to, you know, the heights of the corporate ladder and stuff like that. What is it that you think plays a role in everything? And so I'm going to really break it down to my favorite question I like to ask.
Okay.
Do you feel like everything that happened in your life is what you were called to do, or do you think this is something that you were able to dictate along the way, your will played a part in it, or how do you think all of your success and experiences, you know, happen?
I think it was meant to be. And when I pray, I ask him to show me the way. Guide me down the right path. If I'm doing something wrong, forgive me and show me where I need to go. And that's how I live.
I can dig it.